Nice. Bruce Springsteen get you going here on a Saturday morning. Welcome back into the South Jersey Sports Report. If you're just waking up, getting moving, thanks for joining us. We got about 20 minutes to go before we turn it over to Billy Schweim in the locker room. They are on location at Charlie's Bar in Summers Point this morning. So get over there and say hi to Billy Schweim, Josh Henning, and the boys. Doing a cool show for you, talking about officiating and pro sports. So that should be a fun show to listen to coming up at 10 a.m. We got one more segment here. We're going to welcome in Coach Dave DeWeese of Wildwood Catholic Boys Basketball. He was at the gym earlier. He's back with us now. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Now, when you say gym, do you mean basketball or cranking out some iron?
Nah, I was pumping a little iron.
Nice.
Big chest day today.
Getting ready for tonight, man. You got a big game against Archbishop Carroll. What's the state of your boys? You're coming off a tough loss against Camden, one of the best teams in South Jersey. Did that kind of give you a measuring stick of where you're at and some things you need to work on?
Yeah, it did. Our kids, I thought we played very hard. We were resilient in that we kept fighting back, but it was not our best night. We didn't play as well as I had hoped we would play. And at the end of the game, we had our opportunities, but so far this season, we haven't been in a tight game like that. So unfortunately, we were unable to execute, in the last minute to be able to win that ball game. But I think our kids have all walked away with some very valuable experience. We had 3 kids on the floor who had never been in a game like that before. So that's why we scheduled these kinds of games to get ourselves prepared as we move down the road.
Yeah, kind of hard to replicate something like that in practice. I mean, you can drill it all day long, but until you're in that situation playing against great players with the crowd going crazy, it's hard for players who haven't been in that position to really understand how tense it is and how to really take that pressure and make it into a positive and really just calm yourself. That's the hardest thing, I think, when you're in that last minute of basketball is to stay calm and not turn the ball over. So, like you said, these kids are getting that experience as they're facing some tougher teams.
They are, and the atmosphere at the Boardwalk Basketball Classic was unbelievable. I mean, we had probably the biggest crowd ever at one of the games there, and the crowd was awesome, and just the whole atmosphere was great. And it was a great experience for our kids. And I know that, Vic Karstafen from Camden, he said, we came down for this atmosphere and this kind of game, and that's what we got. They were thrilled. They were thrilled to come down and play.
Well, Coach, I mean, if you look at the last year or 2-3 years, there's really been some great matchups. I know whoever makes these schedules are really trying to come up with some great matchups, and you're going to see that again as well next weekend in the Seagull Classic. And it's really fun to see these top teams be able to go at each other in December and early January and give the fans, a reason to get out to these gyms.
Yeah, we think it's very important to challenge our kids with our schedule. If, we believe we have high-level players, and the only way that they're going to get better is to play against better competition. So what we've been trying to do for the last few years is schedule these higher-end games against the better teams to gain the experience that will hopefully carry us throughout the rest of the season so that we are in these kinds of circumstances in the future. We are experienced. We know how to react, and we get the wins that we need to get.
We're talking with Coach Dave DeWeese from Wildwood Catholic Boys Basketball. And, Coach, one thing when you have a very talented basketball team, these guys still are teenagers. They're teenage boys. They're 16, 17 years old. So I would assume one of the hardest things to guard against is overconfidence. When you're playing regular season games, maybe you're beating a team by 20, 25 points. And is that one of the hardest things to say, hey, there's going to be tougher teams on this schedule? Don't believe all the press clippings just yet, boys.
Yeah, it's a very difficult thing because, we preach it all the time, but, until they actually experience it, I don't think they really believe it. We always are preaching you got to get better every day. You got to work hard and practice every day in order to get to the level where you want to be. And, sometimes that's a hard sell, but, a game like Thursday night certainly opens their eyes to, when they see the level of talent that they were playing against on Thursday night. it opens their eyes to say, look, I see I got a lot of work still to do to get better. And that's a good thing. That's a very good thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of times when you're a 17-year-old kid and you're dominating early in the season, the coach keeps saying, "Hey, there's going to be a time where you're going to have to do this better, do that better." Yeah, coach, we won by 25 points last night. It's a big deal, So
Right.
it can be
Right.
a challenge to get these boys to say, "Hey, let's tighten some things up here."
Yeah, and it's a very hard thing to replicate in practice because, I mean, we don't have our second five is nowhere near the level of Camden.
Right.
So, every day we're practicing against the second five and having success. But then you go into a game like that and you're playing against bigger, stronger, faster kids, which, changes everything. Nothing works as well as it does in practice.
Coach, what do you like about this team? Obviously, you have some talented kids in Thweet and White, and Hopping's really come along. Tell us about some of these other guys. I know it's not just a three-man crew over there at Wildwood Catholic, so tell our listeners about some of the other guys who are making some contributions to this team and really getting you guys off to a good start so far.
Yeah, we only have one senior in the program, and that's Jake McGonigal, and Jake has really paid his dues for his first 3 years at Wildwood Catholic. He played a lot of JV. He played a little bit of varsity last year, probably getting maybe 8 to 10 minutes a game. And, the biggest thing for him was last year, every day in practice, he went against Caleb Fields. Caleb was guarding him defensively. He was guarding Caleb defensively. And every day he came to practice and worked his butt off, even though he was only getting, 8 to 10 minutes a game in the varsity game. And he improved tremendously. And I think it showed the other night against Camden. He's a point guard, and he handled their pressure without blinking an eye. Actually contributed, I think, 8 points. We always are encouraging him to shoot more. He's one of the few kids we really have to encourage to shoot. But he's a good shooter, and he does a lot of great things. He's come a long way, and he's a major part of what we're going to do this year. And then we have two other kids who never really even played much varsity basketball at all. Ben Church, who's been in our program, he's a junior, been in our program. This is his third year. Pretty much was a JV player, his freshman and sophomore year. And this year we've asked him to, step up and play major varsity minutes, and he's answered the bell. He's been unbelievable for us. He's really worked very, very hard in practice, and in the games you see him as one of the guys out there that's all over the floor. He understands his role and plays his role very well. And then we have David Zarfati, who is a sophomore who transferred from Middle Township. He was in his freshman year last year at Middle Township. He broke his ankle, I think, before the season even started in early practices, and then never played the entire year. So this is his first time playing high school basketball, and he's getting thrown into the starting lineup, at Wildwood Catholic, which is a big shock for him. And he's responded. He's responded. He's gotten better every game. I think he's gotten a little more confidence every game, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking to see him develop into a regular contributor in our program. We also have another kid who's not eligible yet. He had to sit for 30 days because he transferred, Deshaun Lopez. He will become eligible, I believe, January 11th. He's going to be a big addition for us. We're very much looking forward to him being able to play. We've seen every day in practice what he's going to be able to contribute to us, and he's going to be a huge addition and also give us, expand our depth. Right now we're playing 6 or 7 kids at the most, and so to expand that to 7 or 8 really makes a big difference.
Talk with Coach Dave DeWeese of Wildwood Catholic Boys Basketball. And, Coach, real quick before we let you go, looking at the Cal United Conference, man, this is going to be one heck of a dogfight going into February, late January, February. Talking about St. Joe, Pleasantville, even Cape May Tech playing some pretty good basketball. So it's going to take a lot to win this division. St. Joe's, you're tied with St. Joe right now, both 2-0. How do you see this thing playing out, and what do you guys need to really improve upon the most to make sure you're in contention for that title and also the Cal tournament?
Well, I think that this year is probably the first year you could say that the United Conference may be the strongest conference in the Cape Atlantic League. The three teams, St. Joe, Pleasantville, and Wildwood Catholic, are all very strong teams that all have the potential to win the conference. So we're going to have our hands full. My hope is that playing these games now is going to prepare us for those games down the road. We've been fortunate to be able to win the conference title the last 6 years, and we want to defend, obviously, again. And it's going to take a lot, though. We played very well in the second half against Pleasantville at home and got a big conference win against them, but they are a very, very good team. And, we have to go up there and play them at Pleasantville. Our first game against St. Joe is at St. Joe in the middle of January. So that's definitely going to be a tough battle. I've seen, their box scores. They're scoring a lot of points and beating people very handily. So, our goal is to, through these games that we're playing now, to get ourselves ready for those challenges in our own conference.
And by the way, Coach, a week from tomorrow, you just, no big deal, just a Patrick School.
I mean, that's a good prep game for us as well. It's a game that I really wanted to challenge these kids. They believe that they are high-level Division I players, and the only way that they're going to have an opportunity to show if they are or they aren't is to play against that level of talent. I mean, the Patrick School is one of the top programs in the state of New Jersey. They're ranked I believe, in the top 10 in the state this year. So it's obviously going to be a very big challenge for us, but it's another one of those games that we hope will prepare us for, the St. Joe game, the next Pleasantville game, the St. Augustine Prep game. But these are the teams that are the best teams in our league and our conference, and we hope that playing these kinds of games, we will be in a better position to win those games.
Great stuff as always, Coach. I'm sure you'll be hanging around after that game at 3:30. Got Bishop Eustace and Williamstown after that, and then Holy Spirit Pleasantville. So if you're a basketball junkie, Holy Spirit's the place to be next weekend for the Seagull Classic. Yeah,
it's a great event. Johnny Rodeo does a great job. He got this event restarted and bringing in a lot of high-level quality teams, and it's just a great event, and we're very looking forward to participating.
Great stuff, Coach. Appreciate it, man. We'll see you next weekend at the Seagull, and get back to work, man. I know you got a lot of film work to do.
All right, thanks for having me.
Thanks, Coach. Have a great weekend, and Happy New Year.